What makes a good story? I asked some friends here at NPT to share their advice on storytelling. Here's what they had to say.
Good stories don't have to be long and complicated. In fact, oftentimes short and sweet is the way to go. And you don't have to tackle all of the issues just to tell a good story. For instance, if you wanted to talk about the difficulties of transportation in Nashville, you might show what it takes for you just to go to the grocery store. Remember, keep it short and sweet.
I think the best stories are personal stories, and when you're telling a personal story, you want to go directly to the source. So if you're going to tell a story about high school graduation, then you want to interview somebody who's about to graduate high school. You don't want to interview someone whose friend's about to graduate high school or whose sibling's about to graduate high school. You want to go directly to the source and make the story as personal as possible.
Two things to keep in mind when you're doing a story. One, the most compelling word in any story is I. It's very tempting for people to talk about other people, some kids. I is the most compelling word for your audience. And the other is, it's interesting if you can show me something with which I'm completely unfamiliar. But if you can show me my world, a world that I'm familiar with, from a different perspective, that's even more interesting. That's most interesting of all. So if you have a different perspective on something that I'm very familiar with, that's a good avenue to pursue for a story. Show me something that I think I know, but I'm seeing it from a completely different viewpoint. Yours.
I think honesty is the most important thing in storytelling, because I think if you tell your story honestly and you allow your subject to tell their story honestly, by default you're going to tap into basic human emotions, the kinds of things that sort of build authenticity in the story and that make the story relatable. I know for me, I always, as I look at stories, I always wonder, who am I in that story, and would I be able to do what they do? And that helps me sort of connect and identify with the story. And then even if it's something sort of beyond my understanding, I tap into this part of myself that wants to know, that wants to be informed. And I think that's as basic of a human emotion as connecting with others is wanting to know who they are and trying to understand them. So I think if you're honest, that all just comes by default. That will just all fall into place.
My best advice in telling a good story on television is to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. I know this sounds basic, but if you keep this in mind while you're not only shooting but editing your story, a place where you start, either a question you ask or just a springing off point for your story, and knowing where you want it to end up or what the final goal of what you want to say is, whatever the story may be. Having a beginning, middle, and end becomes very important, because as you pull the elements that you've already shot into your story on the computer, if, once you have your starting point and you know where you're going to end up, as you're pulling elements in, you need to cut things that don't get you directly from point A to point B. Anything extra has to go. So if you're starting here and somebody kind of takes you off on a weird tangent, cut it. If it doesn't get you to the final end, it doesn't belong in the story.